Hey, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a Green Friday. Every Friday is Love Our Seniors Day. Hopefully, you guys show some love to the elders. So much wisdom we can gain from our elders. I am recording, so I will make this available on YouTube to add to our content in our library. Um, what I want to accomplish here today and I'm looking forward to it being on YouTube because you guys get to send your family and friends to our YouTube channel and learn and just backtrack on a lot of the stuff that we do. So this one here, I want to show you guys. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys because I want you to see why I'm totally excited about what the future holds that we get to control. Doesn't matter who's in political office. This is what we get to control, and that is it's been a long time coming. So I just want to make sure that our community and the world essentially can get ready to operate out of love, operate with a new system, and just be better and do better and pay homage to all the people that we lost because we lost a lot of people. And so even when we get to this beautiful space, a lot of us are going to be remembering the people who didn't get physically to this space with us because they've transitioned before we all arrive at this new space. So let me get in here so I can share my screen with you so you guys can see exactly why Sai is excited. And I start by telling you this first, that Chicago is the headquarters, global headquarters. It's the global headquarters, and it's for a reason. And both positive and negative why Chicago is the headquarters. On the positive side is because of it's the third largest city in America. America is the fourth, the US is the fourth largest country in the world. And so that says something about how big Chicago is. So when you hear about Chicago being number one with the violence, Chicago, when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like three cities in one. West side is like a city, south side is like a city, the east side is like a city. So it's really, when you hear about any of the violent stats, it's really three different cities. You can look at it that way, and you'll see why it's so, um, why the numbers are so screwed and so high. And unlike New York City, where the people are vertical, it's different because in Chicago we're horizontal, we're spread out, and not only that, New York is a melting pot of everyone. Chicago is still segregated, and so when you segregate, it's easy to ignore a certain population because they might not be as important. So just know that that's a big distinguisher when we talk about why the violence in Chicago is higher than New York and Los Angeles. That's my 26-year history that I would put lay on the line as to what I see as the reason why our numbers continue to be higher than LA and both New York, even though we're smaller in population total. So let's get to it. What you're about to look at right now is 1,600 blocks, 1,600 blocks, really 1708, but who's counting like that? So let's get to the share screen tab. Let me go here so I can share this screen with you guys. All right, we're going right here to the tower, share screen. All right, takes a little moment, so bear with me on that. Okay, here we go. We're here. So let me scroll down to get you guys where I want to take you. Right here. That's where I want you to be, right here. Let me zoom in. So I want you guys to see this. I should be able to see myself. Okay, there it is. Okay. So I want you guys to see this, and I'm going to zoom in so you guys can really see it. This here is 108 floors. 108 floors. So this is a lot. All right. Let me zoom in some more so you guys really can see this. So I just want you guys to see the top, and we go work our way down to the bottom. Then I'm gonna switch gears. So this is our global relationship management tool. Global relationship management tool. This is how we manage relationships all around the world. All right. So when you look at this right here, let's see if I can scroll over. Yeah, let's go right over this way. So the top floor, the 101st floor, safety. There are people in our society who only want to hear about safety first. They don't care about the elders. They don't care about the youth, education, and safety. Where there's a floor for those type of people. And if you go all the way over, you have on the 107th floor youth who only care about the youth. So that's the top of this tower. And as we go down here, I'm gonna scroll over. The floors 81 through 100 represents all the professions. Look at these professions, from chefs, journalists, science, veterinarians. Today is Veterinarians Day, business. Then you go down to Africa. Our people in Kenya, Egypt, Ethiopia, Ghana, Nigeria. Come over a little bit further. This is floors 61 through 80. How we manage relationships on floor 77, Zimbabwe. We got South Africa, 76th floor. Then you come down to floors 41 through 60, relationships in Cleveland, 58th floor. Gary, Indiana, 60th floor. New Orleans, 53rd floor. You come over on this side of the tower, how we manage relationships in Birmingham, Alabama, in Atlanta, in DC, in Norfolk, Virginia, like today. Then you come down to the suburbs. Not going to spend that much time there, but the suburbs are important. Then you get down here to Chi-Town, the headquarters, floors 1 through 20. This is where the rubber meets the road. Each one of these neighborhoods manages everything I just showed you above it. So this is the south side here. Look at that. We'll correct that right there in front of you guys. Ashburn. Sixth floor, East Garfield Park. Garfield Park. Come over here. Now you got Bronzeville, South Shore, Woodlawn, Washington Park. So let me stop sharing here because I just wanted to get this on the record. Now, what I'm about to share next is why I'm excited. That's the big picture. That's everything in one. And keep this in mind. We raised $4,000 so far this year. All right. So we raised 4,100 last year. So we're gonna probably break the record that we set last year. We'll break the mark we set last year. But when we get to a place where we have you, 1,000 of you guys helping us to get 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 20 nickels, and 100 pennies, that's $4. And we get that every month. $4 from 1,000 of you guys is $4,000 a month. I just told you we raised $4,000 in the $12 donations for the whole year, 12 months. So when we get to that place, that's going to be a maturity, a maturation, if you will. And it's going to put us at a different level when we get to that place where we are raising $4,000 every month and it's no stress to us because the way we're doing it, it's seamless for us. It's seamless because it's 4 quarters. It's 20 nickels. It's 10 dimes. And so raising that money would not be that hard of a task for us. But it's a certain maturation that we have to get to. It's certain spirits that have to get over the fact that I might not be the face of it or I didn't come up with it. When we get to that place and we just want to win as a whole, as a collective, and we don't care about attention and glory, that when we get to that level, that's when we're going to be able to really, really move and get to 20 nickels, 10 dimes, 4 quarters, and 100 pennies every single month. That will be easy for us to do. So fingers crossed. I stay fired up, ready, and hopeful because I know it's doable. I know it's doable. And to our faithful $12 donors who've been doing it for 20 years, like Joe Dixon and Jimmy Harrington, and to our people who've been doing it for 10 years and 5 years, you guys been the anchor. So without you, we definitely wouldn't be where we at now. So kudos to you, and of course to our $100 loaners, our $5,000 loaners, our $1,000 loaners. You guys allow us to do what we do. So let me get to the last slide here, then we'll be done. Give you back your Friday. So now I'm gonna share the screen with this piece right here. This piece right here. All right, so give it a second here to take hold. I was live, but the live went away. So I'm not sure why the live went away. but the share screen is going to come back in one moment. There it is. So let me kind of tell you what you're looking at so you can know what you're looking at. That is look like a bunch of confusion, but I want you guys to really just take a breath, because what you're looking at is genius. What you're looking at is going to allow us to make life better for you and your family. What you're looking at right here, this one document here, I'm about to walk through this document with you. And please, if you don't take notes now, it'll be on YouTube. I mean, yeah, it'll be on YouTube, so you guys can come back. But I want you to see what we have already established and built. This isn't what we're talking about doing. This is done. And when you and everyone else know what was built already, it's just going to make life a whole lot easier for all of us, because we'll know how to use this to whatever projects it is that we're working on. So that's, to me, that's a beautiful space to be in. So that's the big version. Now let me zoom in so you guys can really see. So I'm gonna go back to the top here. This here says 108 kindergartners, okay, coming together. Now, let me get my annotations here so I can really walk through this with you guys. Okay, so let me go here with, let me go here with this arrow here. And let me make this arrow. Wait a minute, why so many? I don't like that. I like the arrow as a pointer. Well, I do boxes. Yeah, there we go. So I do it this way. Let's clear this out. Now let's do boxes. Let's make them red so you guys can see it. So right here, this tells you what blocks in Chicago that we asked to manage, in this case, kindergartners. Now, don't get caught up into the technical details, what they go teach and all that. That's later, you guys. Just get the concept here. Over on 12 to 15, colon, that's an area in K-Town, North Lawndale, that could use a factory, that could use shipping and receiving, that could use some investment. And what we're saying is kindergartners all over the city of Chicago is coming right here to be of service to you and allow you to service them, meaning jobs. We're going to create jobs. That's colon. They're going to manage, in this case, these blocks that you see underneath here. Let me scroll over because I don't want to lose you guys. Let me stop sharing here. Let me clear that out. Okay, now let me move over. Let me move over here. I don't want to lose you guys. Okay, now let me come up at the top here. Now, and keep this in mind, you guys. This here, what I'm sharing with you, is for every neighborhood in Chicago. So this is a big deal. This here is Kildare. Kildare is right in the middle of Colon. Colon is on the west. One block east is Kildare. Kildare, Roosevelt Road to 15th Street. Their job is going to be to handle everything underneath here for kindergartners only for kindergartners. That's it. All right, let me stop sharing here. Let me stop sharing and let me come over and show you the last one. And the last one is over on this blue side here. Okay. All right, almost there, right there. Now, over here, let me get the drawing again. Sorry, my internet is slow. Okay. Here we go. This is Tripp and Keeler. They're east. Tripp and Keeler. Their job is kindergartners again. So think about what I just shared with you. I shared with you Keeler, Tripp, Kildare, and Colon. 4 blocks that run north and south. I mean, east and west. They run east to west. Colon is all the way west. Keeler is all the way east. Roosevelt Road to 15th Street, the heart of K-Town, North Lawndale. where you got isolation, people sitting around with not a lot going on. Here we come saying all kindergartners in Chicago is going to come here and you guys are going to help us manage all kindergartners in Black Chicago. We bring in a reason to interact, RTI, to Colon, Kildare, Tripp, and Keeler, Roosevelt Road to 16th Street. Wherever there's a kindergartner, they're going to be coming over here to those 4 blocks, 16 blocks when you go 12th Street to 15th Street. So now let me zoom out. Let's clear this annotations out. Now, let me zoom out here. So I want you to look at what you just witnessed. Okay. Let me zoom all the way out. I want y'all to see the big picture. Okay. So I just shared with you those blocks. And what I just shared kind of could be confusing because you saw other things inside them boxes. And this why I'm taking time to do this video, because I know that can be confusing when you see all of that. But what I want you guys to look at right here is, let me come back to the annotations so I can draw this out. You're going to be able to watch this on your own. So that's going to help. So what you saw right here was Kildare, Colon, Tripp, and Keeler is a neighborhood in North Lawndale that doesn't have much going on now. Because of this, we're coming over here saying you're going to be responsible for 1,600 blocks in Chicago. And if those blocks have a kindergartner there, it's your job to help us invest in them with work, recreation, and training. WRT. It's your job on Kildare to cover the south side. It's your job on Colon to cover the west side. It's your job on Tripp and Keeler to cover the east side of Chicago. Wherever kindergartners are in our 20 zip codes, they coming over here. Okay. I hope that makes sense for you. The reason we need to do this is because as it stands right now, as I'm doing this video, kindergartners go to school, come home. There's no kindergartner university. You guys, this represents kindergartner university, where all kindergartners in Black Chicago will be having extra curriculum, extra academics because of Kildare, Colon, Tripp, and Keeler. They're going to do kindergartner fall Olympics. They're going to do kindergartner winter Olympics. They're going to do kindergartner summer Olympics, kindergartner spring Olympics, all year long, developing, cultivating, giving our young people, kindergartners, work, recreation, and training. That's the future. That's what's exciting about education when it comes to this. So hopefully that makes sense, because now we're going to go and look inside these boxes here. So now I'm going to have to zoom back out. Let me close this. Let me zoom back out. Hopefully you guys still with me. I hope you're still with me here. Let's zoom in for you guys. Now, here's how this works. Okay. Each one of these boxes represents 16 blocks. Some 12 blocks, some 20 blocks, but between 12 and 20, most of them are 16 blocks. Now, these 16 blocks, I couldn't write all of that on this document because it would have took up too much space and it would have confused you even more than you may be now. So what I want you to know is I just picked one block out of the 16 blocks to list so you have a reference point. Okay, so now I'm going to get my annotations here and I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to circle what I mean by this so you guys can see how highly organized we got the city of Chicago. So on the west side of Chicago, 12th and Colon is one village, one 16 block area. They're responsible for all kindergartners in the whole city of Chicago. If you come over here, 16th and Ridgeway, that's in North Lawndale. They're responsible for anyone and everyone with ties to North Chicago. That's a suburb. And so what they do, they build a relationship with North Chicago and city of Chicago. And the purpose of that is so our children in Chicago can compete, spelling bee, jump rope against North Chicago children. They can take trips. They can have places to go so they're not stuck in their local neighborhoods. 16th and Ridgeway manages that. 12th and Pulaski, and those 16 blocks manages anyone we meet that's in the U.S. Navy. That's their job in that area from Roosevelt Road to 16th Street, Pulaski, all the way over to Hamlin. Anyone in the Navy, anywhere in Chicago, they keep that list. They manage coordinating with them. They make sure the Navy veterans are getting together, doing things to uplift the Navy cause. As you can see, you guys, it's something for every neighborhood. Over here on 67th and May, 67th and May, that's in the Inglewood neighborhood. They deal with anyone fixing computers. On 67th and May, Inglewood, anyone fixing computers, that area, anywhere, it goes to the people around there on 67th and May and the 15 other blocks linked to them. What I'm saying to you guys is every single neighborhood is doing something to build us up. 71st and Kedzie, all our landscapers in Chicago, 71st and Kedzie, Mozart, they keep the list of all the landscapers in Chicago. And so I want you guys to digest this so you'll know how big this is. Let's go over here. If you a disc jockey in Chicago, a DJ, 67th and State keeps the list of all DJs in Chicago, all the DJs in Chi-Town. If you're into marketing, if you're into marketing, 71st and Cornell with South Shore keeps the list of all our marketer persons. So here's how this works. If you live over here on 16th and Drake, right there, and you're a DJ, you're on 16th Drake and you're a DJ, your information about you being a DJ goes from here to here. So you on 16th and Drake, 67th and State will have your information as a DJ. So 16th and Drake DJ information is going to 67th and State so that they can keep him or her up to date with opportunities to go and get gigs to DJ or letting them know what the latest equipment is. It's all things, a factory, if you will, for all things dealing with DJs. This is big. Let me clear all of that out. Close this. Let me back out so you guys can see what you're looking at again. That's how big this is, y'all. That's how big this is. 1,600 blocks. On every block is already carved out. 16 blocks, what we asking them to do. As you can see, if you go back to the tower, you remember seeing on the tower, you saw journalism, chef, catering, you saw veterinarians. All that goes right here. All that goes right here. So I just explained to you how this whole system works. The D mean district leaders. Those are our leaders who manages all four of those villages, we call them. And each one of these villages sits in a zip code, and there are governors over the zip code. So we got two layers of leadership, and then inside each of these 16 block areas are our mayors. And the mayors are the main ones who manage this whole process inside their 16 block area. So I hope I didn't lose you with all of this. And it's okay. It's okay. This stuff comes over time and repetition. But now what I want to do is I just explained to you the big picture. Now I just want to go through each slide and I want you to know what you're going to be looking at. You're going to see a black box. This black box has the name of that grade student from kindergarten to 12th grade. If you don't see a black box and you see those the yellow, green, or blue blocks and it doesn't have a name of a child there or parent, that means we don't know not one student in that grade in that whole 16 block area. So it's shameful when you see not a lot of black boxes. You should see black boxes everywhere. That means we know students everywhere, but you're going to see that's not the case. So as you look here, in the whole city of Chicago, this means we only know one kindergartner. And that kindergartner lives in the vicinity in Inglewood, 63rd and Normal. One kindergartner for the whole city. Now, that just means you guys didn't tell us because there are kindergartners in every one of these, but that means we don't know them. We don't have that relationship. We need to know them so we can fit them into the bigger picture of what we're doing and help them win money and get connected the whole 9 yards. So now I'm just gonna go through here and I'm about to just go through every one of these slides. I'm gonna come back and zoom in a little bit, but I just want you to see this here is the first graders. All right. These are the second graders. And if you let me do this, you'll know how it's changing. I want to show you where to look so you'll know what's changing. This is where you want to look right here. This is where you want to look. Right there. Let me go here. Let me go here, see if I can get a better view for you. Okay, now, but you want to look right where I drew that line at. I will have to clear it out, which I am, but I don't want to have to do it over. So you want to look up top there. Okay, so let's go through and look at these, you guys. In all this area, we only have a second grader here, and we only have a second grader here. For the whole, this whole thing, we only know of those 2 second grades. Pretty sad. There's a second grader you know right now that we hope you would share that with us so that we can get them in the mix. Now we're going to move on to third grade. Third grade. Now we got a little bit more cooking with third grade. So we go through this real quick so you guys can see this as well. All right. So here is, this is our third graders right here. All right. It's 108 boxes here. That's why you see 108 third graders. It's 108 boxes. So if we have at least one third grader for the whole system, it'll be 108 third graders. But as you can see here, we have a third grader that lives around 79th and Woods. That's in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. We have over here 63rd Normal area. We have, that's Inglewood. We have a third grader. Over here around 63rd and Francisco, we have a third grader. On the west side, Jackson and Kilbourne, we have a third grader. 16th and Drake, third grader. 103rd and Perry, a third grader. 179th and Colfax, third grader. That's in the Calumet Heights neighborhood. This is in the Roseland neighborhood. This is in North Lawndale neighborhood. This is in West Garfield Park. See how that works? There are people who know third graders everywhere. The lack of us not knowing it, that's why getting information to us is critical. So these third graders can compete in the Winter Olympics and win some money. Like that's the beauty of this. You know, let the third graders do their thing. Now we move on to fourth grade. All right. So now moving on to fourth grade here. And I'm not going to bore you guys with doing this over and over and over again, but I will do a couple more. And I want to definitely, I do fourth grade, then I'm going to go down to 12th grade. Okay. Because I do want to talk about the ones getting ready to graduate. So here, fourth grade. All right. So right off the bat, we got fourth graders here in the Inglewood neighborhood. We have on Francisco and Harrison, a fourth grader. 111th and Perry, a fourth grader. 103rd and Perry, a fourth grader. Kilbourne and Jackson, fourth grader. 63rd and Francisco, fourth grader. And the fourth graders compete against each other. West side fourth graders, south side fourth graders compete. So that's what you're looking at. If we meet a parent, not if, every parent we meet, we find out what they do. And once we know what they do, then we tell them what one of these villages they're assigned to as a parent so that you will have support. So you will have people in your life. So now I'm getting down here to 12th grade and I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see this better. Here are our graduates. All right, now let me zoom in some more so you guys can really see this. I know it's hard to see. So now I think this is big enough right here. Okay, so now let's look at this. I want you guys to see this. And again, you can watch this over and over and over again until it makes sense for you. But just know the whole city of Black Chicago is linked together. So here, Whipple and Madison, Etta in the Garfield Park area has a 12th grader. 63rd and Rockwell and Marquette Park, Tamika has a 12th grader. Jasmine around Francisco and Harrison has a 12th grader. 59th and State, Autumn has a 12th grader. So as you can see here, and I'm gonna zoom out now so you guys can see better. Let me back up a little bit. Gotta get rid of them squares so you guys can really see that. Let's get rid of them squares. Okay. So as I get rid of these squares, you guys, I want you to see this right here. This is the 12th graders right here. And this just shows you these are the 12th graders that we know. And wherever you don't see a 12th grader, that means we don't know it. We don't know them. 118th in Woods, 59th in State, 103rd in Perry. We need to know at least 108 12th graders for this to be complete. And everywhere they come from, their blocks are assigned to do something different. So let me stop this whole thing here. Let me stop sharing. Let me just get back to looking at you and explaining this to you. So let's talk about what you just witnessed. Too often in our community, we have been dependent on leaders and been dependent on government. What you just seen here, and hopefully you'll work with us to make this a commonplace and implement this, is something that allows us to be interdependent on each other. That's a big difference between being dependent on government, dependent on precinct captains, dependent on the mayor. Here, we're saying we're going to take government, we're going to take our blocks and govern ourselves, but we're going to carve out one thing that we're going to do for the whole city, and that's going to force the whole city to depend on us as well as we depend on them for whatever their one thing is. So we're forcing interdependency, which is the definition of how we come together. When we say come together for what? Here, if you're in charge of all kindergartners and I have a kindergarten, I have a reason to come together and see what you're offering my kindergarten. If you're in charge of all DJs and I'm a DJ, I have a reason to come together because I want to know what you're offering and what you have available. So this 108, it forces us to do this, to get to know what we are offering to each other. All right. I hope this makes sense. And if it doesn't, it's okay because we're not stopping. We're 26 years in. I just hope it makes sense so that you can say, man, what if each one of these boxes, 16 blocks, what if they did the 10 dimes, the 20 nickels, the 4 quarters, the 100 pennies? That's just $4. What if 1,000 people, 10 people in each one of these villages did that? Now we have the funding to go along with changing the atmosphere in every one of these villages. Every one of them 16 block areas, that's a factory we want to get going. And inside that interaction, shipping and receiving, whatever it is they do. If you're in charge of DJs, what are you shipping? What you're shipping is to every DJ across the city, you're telling them what the new and latest whatever it is when it comes to DJs. What are you receiving? You're receiving those DJs $12, those DJs for 10 dimes, 20 nickels. That's the shipping and receiving. More importantly, you got a job. This takes work. Someone has to be employed to run this. So every one of these 108, it's 108 people working just administration. It's 108 people working the phones. It's 108 people doing the physical door to door. So that's it. Hopefully you're excited. I'm excited. We're going to get there because we're just going to keep plugging away. Peace.